Hello and welcome to Raptor Wraith's Let's Play. Today we're going to be playing some Star Trek Fleet Commander. This is a scopely mobile game built about 2.5 years ago, with the universe set in the Kelvin timeline of Star Trek. You start the game off in some backwater solar system way off on the edge of the map, and your goal is to basically go through the PvE missions until you've gotten enough experience, e.g. gotten to level 15, where then you can start engaging with other players. The grind from level 1 to level 10 typically takes about a day or two and can be accomplished far, far more quickly if you are a spender. Getting from level 10 to 15 will take significantly longer, as there are a huge number of buildings that get enabled from 10 to 15. It is recommended that when you are playing this game that you keep all your buildings at an even level, meaning that if you are a level 26 command center, all of your buildings internally should be upgraded to 26 before proceeding on to level 27. So, this is the default view that you will normally see when you first get into the game. Swipe to the left on the chat menu, and that will take you to your Alliance chat. At the top right hand, you see we have 3 resource categories. These are base resources. If you're from the Game of Thrones world, this would be the same as food, wood, and stone. Parsteel, which is the orange hexagonal, is the easiest material to come by and is also the material that is highest used in building any of the actual equipment or buildings that you will be using in your station. The next item is tritanium. That's that green jar that you see there in the middle. This is typically used to build starships and repair starships. It's a critical component in making sure that the hulls actually stand up to the rigors of space travel. That's straight from Star Trek lore, so whatever. The final item there is dilithium. That's the crystal wrapped in gold that you see at the far right-hand side. This is a very rare and extremely hard to come by material. It takes days to mine if you are a miner. It takes a large number of raids to get any significant amount when you're raiding bases, ships, or armadas. This will take an enormous amount of your time and will probably be the highest portion of your pursuit. Luckily, the game takes this into account and offers missions where you can get buku dilithium just by accomplishing certain tasks. For example, in the Combat Veteran, I can earn up to 3.8 million dilithium by accomplishing this goal of defeating the hostile captain. Now, mind you, the challenge level gets exponential between each of these combat veteran levels. So if I look here, the champion that I have to defeat, this hostile captain, is estimated at 149 power on a base ship of level 1. Meaning that it is a tier 1 ship that has equipment that amounts to 527 and 149 total power. As you can see here, my Kumari is only 323,195 power, significantly lower than what it would take to actually defeat this particular mission. Therefore, it is still in my mission queue. If I click Manage, I can see my actual ship here. This is my Kumari. So this is a grade 3 common tier battleship. I can see other ships here in my docks. So ship B is a common G3 tier 7 maximum level mining ship. And we'll talk about mining ships here in a little bit. My ship C is my grade 3 common tier 6 explorer. This explorer vessel has its advantages for certain tactical usage, as does the battleship. There's a final ship category that I haven't shown you yet, aside from the minor, and that is the Interceptor class. This is my Kara. The Interceptor class is generally used for attacking battleships. The Explorer class is generally used for attacking player versus everyone targets, as well as attacking interceptors. The Battleship is outstanding at attacking explorers and targets in general, but also lacks the defensibility and the maneuverability that the Interceptor does. Therefore, an Interceptor is going to defeat a battleship should the power ratios be favorable to the attacking person. And we can see that demonstrated or illustrated in the combat triangle. The game does a good job of explaining what each of these combat features does. So before we go back into the station, let me show you something. The ships themselves can be upgraded, and you can assign officers to your ship. Well, that's actually a requirement. The officers are collected through the recruiting station, which then allows you to use shards, is what they are referred to collect enough shards of these individual crew members to eventually upgrade them to a particular level. The ships themselves upgradability is based on the amount of resources you have available and the research that you have done. So at this point, while I might have done the research for this titanium armor, the titanium armor requires me to use 600 grade 3 uncommon refined ore, which I can't mine, I have to refine, or I have to buy. Grade 3 uncommon refined crystal, same thing. And 623 third grade battleship parts, which cost, as you can see, pretty damn close to 1.13 or so latinum per component. So not a particularly good trade-off using the conversion from latinum to machine parts, but to each their own. If you're a big spender, you're a big spender. The titanium, again, is used for building these components, and you can see all of these components that have been already upgraded will be read as Mark 8, and you can see this is Mark 7. So once we upgrade all of the components that you see here, we can then increase the tier of the ship to tier 7. The higher the tier, the stronger the ship. Hopefully all that makes perfect sense. So let's head into my space station. So here's the exterior view, and you can see I have my docking ports lined up as those circles outside of my habitation ring and bubble. Lined along the habitation ring, there are turrets, defense platforms. These defense platforms will protect your station in the event that none of your ships are available to defend the station and your peace shield has either expired or you have dropped it for attacks. If the peace shield expires or you have dropped it for attacks and all of your ships are home, they as well will participate in the defense of your station, meaning that your defense can go from a baseline of whatever your particulars are based on your defense platforms, plus the addition of whatever ships are at home, plus the addition of whatever crew buffs and bonuses you receive from them from being at home. Yes, that's right. The crew, if you are from the Game of Thrones worlds, is very much like the armor. It changes the effects and the performance of the attacking components, in this case the ships, that you will be using. Some crew members specialize in protecting or defending the station. I particularly am not a fan of that method or tactic of playing, so I haven't really focused on upgrading that particular officer. But you can see here the Station Expert bonus offers an increase in ship's health when defending a station. Certain officers have better advantages over certain things. For example, Halvia, currently deployed, is a miner and surveyor, and as you can see, she is nearly at her maximum level, which has brought her attack at defense and health very high, but primarily the big buffs that you receive by using her within your ship is the parsteel mining rate increases by 90% with her, which is no big deal since parsteel isn't really that important to mine. But having an 125 increase in warp speed is amazing when you need to pop over to another system quickly. 125% faster than your maximum speed is a significant boost in performance between one ship and another. And this is clearly exemplified by the amount of time that it will take, for example, for this particular ship where Helvia is deployed to get to its destination. Once you look at this from the perspective of the outside, it's time to step inside to take a look at the interior mess. So this is the interior, guys. Here we have our resource generating platforms. These generate, for example, in these 6 up here are parsteel, tritanium, and dilithium. These generate, these protect. The warehouse is storage. Parsteel vault keeps people from raiding your resources, so protected resources from what those of you guys coming from Game of Thrones. You build these up, you level them up, and then you can collect from each of them. Right now, I'm full up on pretty much everything, so I can't really collect anything, but they're guaranteed to be stuffed with resources ready to collect once I have gone below my storage capacity. You can see these are the storage capacities that we have available here. Okay, this is your command center. Sorry, that's your refinery. This is your command center. This is where operations lives, and here is basically how it works. You get a weapons damage bonus for each level that you pop up, again with the level cap being set currently to 39. It does go all the way up to level 50, but there is nobody that has broken the level 39 level cap, and as such, Scopely has not yet unlocked that feature, which means, unfortunately, we'll never be able to see the market, nor the bank, nor covert operations, shield generator, or the sensor station. Too bad. There's another slot that they have right here in the middle between the ship hangar and the shipyard. Who knows? Future proofing. Don't care. Scopely will do what they do. Again, just like Warner Brothers, they are nothing more than interested in cash. Don't give it to them if you don't want to. The research and development department, again, if we're going to be doing comparisons here for apples to apples and oranges to oranges, this would be very similar to the Maester's Tower in Game of Thrones. So this is where your research is done. You have 3 categories of research. You have combat research, station research, and galaxy research. Please make sure you look and understand what each of these things does before you actually start researching them, unless you're an idiot like me and just goes through and researches literally everything, which in that case, go at it. Otherwise, you can choose to specialize in a particular type of ship, either battleship, interceptor, or explorer, or miner if you're really interested in getting deep into the mining stuff that you can get into in this game. Aside from the research also provides buildings that provide additional buffs. Research cost efficiency is provided by the Aeronautics Studio. The armory is unlocked at level 40. The foundry opens up the armor bonus and improves the battleship shield health bonus. And by the way, your ships have shields and hulls. So as your shields get worn down, your hull starts taking damage. Make sense? Hope so. This is the academy where your recruits are coming through. And here's where you can see your recruits rather, and upgrade or promote them depending on what you're trying to do with them. This also shows you the progress you have made on unlocking all of the other available crew members. So as you can see here, I'm still quite a ways away from unlocking Captain Kirk. Got a bit of work to do still there, buddy. In addition to that, you can also pay for upgrading your officers and ships. That's what the green value here is, officer XP. In the ship side of things, it looks yellow, and if you go here to upgrade, it's the yellow box that you see there, ship experience. You cannot upgrade a ship beyond its tier, so in order for that ship to go to a higher level than where it's currently at, I need to tier it up. It's just how it works. The refinery is where you refine your rare materials. Again, if we're coming from the Game of Thrones world, this would essentially be like the steel and the materials for crafting. While they're not necessarily used in the same way as crafting materials were in Game of Thrones, these are critically essential to the upgrading and progression of your station. We can refine grade 3 crystal, gas, and ore, and grade 2 crystal, gas, and ore. The refining process is straightforward. You see the amount of raw crystal or ore or gas that you have, and then you select, based on how many you have available, how much crystal that you will like to open in chests. Each chest will result in an X number of whichever defined rewards you see here. You can also refine biomaterials or biominerals into basic minerals or materials. I like using the dilithium one. As you collect and defeat swarm PvE objects, it lets you kind of build up these biomaterials where then you can unlock a chest and you can see the rewards are pretty damn good. So you get about 75,000 dilithium off of 100 biominerals, which you can earn 100 biominerals completing your daily quests basically every day. So basically a free 75,000 dilithium a day if you're on top of that, which I'm not, as you can clearly see, hanging out at 70 there. You can also refine latinum. Latinum is this universe's version of gold. So since gold in the Star Trek universe is virtually valueless, we use something called latinum, which is kind of an abbreviation for liquid platinum. Except it's not necessarily platinum; it's its own weird little chemical isometric atomic structure of platinum like material. Anyway, long story short, this is where you get the gold. And here at the top is my gold count. You can see I got about 1538. If you want to refine platinum ore into gold, basically each chest will net you about 170 latinum and parts for the Ferengi Devore, which is the mud bug, or the Ferengi mining vessel, which is the fastest at mining the latinum ore. The fastest at mining the gas and the grade 3 ores, crystals, and gases are going to be the ships called the North Star, as well as, I'll bring it up here. By the way, this is where you can view all the ships that are available to you. So again, the fastest ones at mining the grade 3 stuff are the North Star, and as well the Horizon. And if you do eventually get up to the level high enough to get up there to build such things, the best miner is the Antares. This is hands down the top of the cream of the crop. And you can see the top of the cream of the crop stuff is going to be all moved up tier to the end of things. And you can see that the different factions have the different ships available to you. So there are 3 factions. So if we want to call factions the same as houses from Game of Thrones, You have to have allegiance to a particular house or faction in order to reap the benefits, or you can choose to remain independent entirely. It's up to you. It's your game, you play how you want. I have chosen to make friends with the Federation and the Romulans. I've also been working with the Augments a bit, so I'm not quite in their shit list, to be certain. But you can see here, you can collect credits for each of the factions that can then be spent in the stores on materials like this. And eventually, as you get better, get to know them better and better, you'll get better and better bits and pieces that you can actually make friends with them with. If you're hostile, you don't get anything. They don't like you, and they'll attack you on sight. So if I go into Klingon territory, they'll give me a warning that I'm trespassing, and then they'll send a ship to destroy mine. As you can see with the Romulans, I've spent quite a bit of time hanging out with them, so I got quite a bit of credits with them, and I just got to kind of build my reputation with them so I can start spending these credits at better ranking stuff. What I'm kind of really after here is either the Legionary or the Centurion class, although I'd love to get an Augur at some point. Wouldn't we all, right? Working with the augments are universally hated by all the other factions. If you get too friendly with the augments, the rest of the factions will hate you. Pretty much how it works. For these guys, you have to collect corrupted data or purified data, which can then be sold or converted into augment credits or augment reputation. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and hit the augment reputation button to show you what that looks like. And boom. And now I have added those reputation points to my standing with the augments, which then allows me to do things like, for example, if I needed to get credits, I need to collect a little bit more corrupted data before I can collect those, so maybe something to do later this afternoon. Alright, so that's the tour of the space station inside. Oh, let's talk about armadas. So armadas is, if you come from the Game of Thrones world, again, this easy comparison, this is rallies. So you need a building to actually host the rallies, and then the level of the building denotes how much of an attack bonus you're going to get for all the players involved in the armada that are attacking. And my armada size is defined by my level as well. So as you move up in level, more ships can participate in your armada. So at this point, as a level 26, it looks like I can have a 50% bonus. I'm sorry, with level 25, I have a 50% bonus on the damage of all the participating players, and I can have myself plus 3 additional players participate in the rally or armada with me. So you count as one of the users of the armada size. Keep that in mind. You don't get into the next level of armada size till you hit level 30, so then you get one more. Once, aside from that, you got inventory. You can look through that. It's pretty much self-explanatory from there. And then alliance, which is where you can see your entire alliance here. So all the players in the alliance, sorted by rank. You can sort by rank, contributions, or power. Contributions basically help the alliance by allowing more members to join the alliance, which means that we can grow more significantly. So we can take any of our resources and donate them so that they are then going to be pushing the increase of the level to the next position, which we get 2 more players when we bump to level 17. We can also help the fellow members of our alliance here. We encourage everybody to do that because it's not only going to give you points, but it makes everything in the armada, rather in the alliance, go a lot faster. So if I am upgrading something, I can ask for help, and then when I get help, it actually shows down here at the bottom. You can see here, let's see, a little more contrast there. 14/14 below defense. And then 14/14, that means that 14 people have helped me for each of those items. So if I were to finish one of those items, so let's do this one just for giggles. I have a few speed ups I can use. And do that, and do that, and goodbye. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and start some fresh research here. Let me go ahead and let's see. Should I do... Cool. Start that. And then tap Ask for Help. And when we go back, you'll see here that it's reset to 0 out of 14. And as my Alliance members go throughout the day and look at the Help button, you can see here they will basically put Ask for Help button, and then they will contribute help based on them tapping that button. So it doesn't cost you anything to just help other people out. It's kind of just a good thing to do. Rewards are rewards that you spend with Alliance components. So, for example, we've done a lot of Armada stuff. So I can probably spend a few of these to get some tactical cores. And these are resources to upgrade your Armada building as well as everything else you can see here. And then that will help you then in turn grab stuff like if you need, for example, let's see, I'm low on those, so I can't get that yet, but I got plenty of those. So when this refreshes here for the Armada directives, I'll be able to spend the Alliance credits and give myself directives so that I can do more Armadas later on. So that keeps the system rolling. And then, of course, here's the shortcut to the store anyway. I'd love to hit that, but I don't have enough. We haven't hit enough rare armadas to actually get this stuff here. The best part about it is that if you do hit the rare stuff, you get some pretty big prizes out of that. Saladin would be amazing. Although I'd really like Bortos as well. Anyway, enough drooling over the ships that I can't have right now. You have hourly, daily, and 10-minute chests, so 4-hour, 10-minute, and 24-hour. In order to get a 7-day loyalty chest, you need to spend loyalty badges. The only way you can get loyalty badges is if you complete the daily quests. So if you hit that exclamation, you go to the daily goals. As a prize for completing it, you get 1. So you just have to finish your daily goals to get your loyalty badge. And as you can see here, the rewards for killing swarm stuff, as you can tell, can be quite useful, considering that each 100 of those swarm biominerals is valuable. As you will find out as you try to acquire more and more dilithium as you go on throughout your process of upgrading and growing. All right. And that's before we go, I'm going to show you a quick breakdown on how traveling and attacking works. So we'll go out to the universe. So I got my Kumari selected here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to attack. Let's see if I can attack something that won't get me into trouble. Because I am not the biggest boy on the block, so I still have to watch my ass. This should be fine. Let's go to Xerxes. And we'll pop over here and let's blow this ugly thing up. Yeah, it's weak. Let's blow this big ugly bastard up. Okay, there should be plenty of stuff to blow up here. So I'm gonna go ahead and warp over to that system Xerxes. And it's basically the same format of attack when you're dealing with players and player stations. So if I was so inclined to attack a player ship, I would look at the ship. Well, I mean, that's not going to work there, but let's go here. Locate this one while we're warping over there. You can see your warp time at the top. So, for example, if I wanted this ship to attack, say, this ship here, I can scan it. I could have a basic breakdown. You can see at the top it says normal, and that's because we're pretty closely matched there. I find that when it says normal, I'm very likely to win this fight. If it says hard, I'm mostly likely to win the fight. If it says very hard, I'm not very likely to win the fight. So an example of that would be very hard. I'm not very likely to win that fight. All right. And in mining, of course, this is where you get your raw materials. You can actually, in the Galaxy view, as of the latest update, see what material is located in each system, notated by the little icon in the bottom, right above View System. As you can see there, each of those is listed there, and then you can see grade 3 gas there. Other things, other things, other things. Oh yeah. You're limited to what areas you can get to based on the performance of your ship, as well as the level that you're at. So I'm hanging out over here in a level 30 system, but beginners are probably going to be hanging out way off at the edge of the map down here at the level 1 systems. So again, you're kept fairly relatively safe from the bigger players, and even if there is a bigger player there, they're not going to be able to touch you because if you're a weaker player, this is basically the message that I'm going to get from. I'll go here. This is the message that I would get if you were hanging out there. Target level is too low. So protecting the small players to keep the game from getting stupid and boring. Good job there, at least on that, Scopely. This sale is where you actually go spend real money to get fake shit. And this is where your events are located. And you can see here, for example, in the replicator rebate, you can earn points, and then you can see what the prizes are for each point. Lots of stuff to do there. All right, so we're just about almost warped over there, so let me locate you. So let me go into Xerxes. Should be arriving in the next 30 seconds or so. Or once you arrive, you can actually accept missions if you see these yellow exclamation points anywhere. So you can see the missions there and you can accept them once you're in the system with a ship. But that's basically what your missions look like. So you can just go through and oh, and these little badges indicate that they'll benefit your standing with the particular faction the badge represents. So this will improve my standing with the Romulans, this one with the Federation, this one with the Klingons, and I don't think I have any augment ones going right now other than the on the Grapevine, which they're their own nightmare in itself. All right, my ship's arrived. So let's go ahead and battle this thing over here. And that's what this is what the battles look like. Yeah, so he got blown up, and because he was such a significant number of power below mine, it barely did any damage to my ship. So I'm going to go ahead and recall, and I'll get to the mission later. I just want to go ahead and post this Let's Play for you guys. If you guys do manage to find yourselves in my universe server, these are my player profile specs. So I am listed as Wraith with a 1, not an I, and I am part of Spammy Spaceballs McCoy. Look up number 16 in case you need to actually join the alliance or you're interested. I'll let them know that I sent you. Alrighty, guys. It was fun playing. Time to get back.